Peace and love, family. Breaking my fast. I fast all night long. My first and probably only meal of the day. Maybe. Depends how I feel. Where y'all at? I'm gonna let y'all get up in here. Y'all good? Who in the building? Let me know who in the building. What's up, Trotman Bay? So what I decided to do is I'm going to Trotman Bay. When you gonna come help us when we gonna put that real temple in NYC? The Prophet's temple. That temple that demonstrate exactly what the Prophet demonstrated. With no filter. When we gonna do that? Did they burn you out? They burnt you out? Who else is burnt out? Some of these Moors are burnt out because of the past experiences with this illusion. Don't get burnt out, family. Listen, we all at some point have lived a lie as it relates to the Moorish Science Temple of America. We all have lived a lie, but it's not our fault. It's not our fault. Listen, think about this. I'm gonna talk slow. I ain't gonna yell, I ain't gonna nothing. If we know that the idea of the Moorish Science Temple of America was passed down from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali to Kirkman Bay is a lie, then what is the alternative? There has to be an alternative because this is a holy and divine movement. Secondly, if we know that Emmanuel was the first and the only appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, and after him, the only thing that survived was the remnants of what Belial could hold on to, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? If this is a holy and divine movement, if this is a perpetual movement, we know that the Kirkman Bay connection to the Prophet is a lie as it relates to an administratively moving in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We know that's a lie. They know that's a lie. No matter how much they front, no matter how much they perpetrate, no matter how much they try to act like they're so organized in executing the Prophet's movement, we know that it's a lie. And when you look deeper at the execution, you also know that it's not really being executed. Like, we know that. And once we know that it's a lie, what is the alternative? Because it's a perpetual organization. It never ends. What is it? Let me tell you what I come up with. We are supposed to wake up to the lies. In this hour, we're supposed to wake up to the lies. Look at the movement for what the Prophet gave us. All that other stuff we need to throw away. What I'm saying is all the other stuff that we thought was the Prophet's movement, that we thought was the Prophet, how the Prophet moved administratively, we got to throw it all away. We just got to disregard it and throw it away. And we have to look at the Prophet Noble Drew Ali from 1925 to 1928, the closing of the convention. And we have to look at that model and build it. Now, the whole thing about it is we have to understand the doctrine of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I'm talking about all aspects of the doctrine of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. One of the aspects we're going to deal with today is Mexicans are not Moorish American. All right? Mexicans. Now, on Sunday, in my Sunday class, if the Grand Sheik allowed me to teach a class on Sunday in the temple. In that class, I'm going to show the difference between Moorish Americans, Moorish Mexicans, and other people that's of the Asiatic family. But one thing that we can't do, we can't act like that everybody is a Moorish American because they joined the Moorish Science Temple of America. Everybody is not a Moorish American. You know what I mean? Are we from the North America or South America? I don't think people with afros were from a cold climate. So Luis Serrano Bay, his family come from South America. Let's deal with Luis. That's just hypothetically says that he's a Mexican. Hypothetically. You ever notice that those who have a nationality that claim Moorish American, they never have their families on their Facebook pages? I need to see some sevens in the air. You ever notice if a European claimed to be Moorish and claimed that they be light skin or whatever, they never have their families, their extended family, their immediate family on their Facebook page. Go to Luis Serrano Bay page right now, if you got time, or after this, and go through his page, and see if you see anybody on there that's of his direct family, that would be considered Negro, black, and colored. You won't find it. They always hide that. When these imposters, I got you, Kennard, I got you. When these imposters claim Moorish American, all you have to do is go to their page. I don't care if they get involved with a sister or one get involved with a brother. Go to their page. I guarantee you, you won't see mama, you won't see daddy, you won't see grandpapa. Because Papi is straight south of the border with a nationality. Now, Mexicans are of the Asiatic nations. And this is a uniting of the Asiatic nations. But Mexicans are not Moorish American. Mexicans have a nationality and a national descent name. So although a Mexican come to America and even born in America, their nationality is American, but they also have a national descent name, which is Mexican. You see? And so for them to try to act as if that they are the people that the prophet is talking about in the divine constitution and bylaws from 1779 to 1865 during the time of slavery, that's a true fallacy. That's a major fallacy. Now, when we read the divine constitution and bylaw, if we read it correctly, not what we've been taught, if we read it correctly, this is the uniting of Asia. This is the uniting of Asia, right? So I don't have no problem with a Mexican. But if you join the temple, you are a Moor ethnically, because all roads lead to the Moroccan Empire, the ancient Moroccan Empire. But your nationality is not necessarily Moorish American. Why? Let's go over Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. In the true sense of how this article is written, that anybody of the Asiatic nation can join the Moorish Science Temple of America. But they must proclaim their nationality. Not yours, their nationality. And I know this is going to come to shock to some people, but I can verify this in the writings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, which I will do on Sunday. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality. Those are two different clauses. When you see the and, now I can butcher words all day long, but I do have pretty good comprehension. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So if a Japanese joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, they will proclaim to be Japanese American, and they can be members, if they of the Asiatic nation, they can be members of the Moorish Science Temple of America if you choose to, if the Grand Sheikh or their council choose to allow to let that be, because they're Asiatics, and this is the uniting of Asia. But they must proclaim their nationality, not yours. And then listen to it closely. And we, who is the we? Moorish Americans. We are teaching our people those are two different clauses, their nationality, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government. Who need to know they are part and parcel of this said government? Our people. That they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government. And no, they are not Negroes, color folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaves. Who were they given to? Not Mexicans. Who were they given to? Not Nicaraguans. In 1779 to 1865 is talking about a period of time here in the place called the United States of America. Let's be clear. This is not a hate speech on any Mexican or anybody who chooses to be a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is just pure Moorish science that no one ever really taught on. I never heard anybody teach on it. But I can tell you that we're on the crux of information being revealed in the purest form, and I can tell you what it is, which I've known this for some time, but I know many people ain't ready for it. People, they want everybody, they want Moorish science to be all-inclusive. That's what you want it to be. And it is. It is for all Asiatics. But that doesn't make you Moorish American. You can be a Moor, but not necessarily Moorish American. You understand? You can be a Moor, but not necessarily Moorish American, because you must proclaim your nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality, that they may know that they are not Negro, black folks, or colored people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. And all men must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which we live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, this is the reason. No more, no less. This is the reason. Honor to Jackson L. Jackson L. point out, Moorish Americans, as the prophet clearly said, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans. The Moorish, I appreciate chapter, Holy Quran, chapter 45, verse 5. And so these people that's jumping on the bandwagon, like Luis Serrano Bay, why don't he highlight his Mexican or his south of the border side of his origin? Why is he ashamed to show mama or daddy's side? Why do they want to jump on the bandwagon of the Moorish Science Temple of America and act like they're us? This is the uniting of Asia, but you're not a Moorish American. The Moorish American must establish themselves a home. Mexicans, you have a home. You can go back to Mexico. Our home was ripped from us. But in the reality and in the truth of the matter, the world becomes our home. Wherever we lay our feet is our home. But we must build it. But we will not allow Mexicans or any other person of the Asiatic family to try to proclaim Moorish American when that's not the prophet doctrine. That's not the prophet doctrine. The prophet teaches us is if the Turks must come to this country and proclaim theirs, then you must proclaim yours. You must proclaim yours. You can't proclaim theirs. Everybody who joined the Moorish Science Temple of America is not necessarily Moorish American. And we have yet to really pull back the layers of that, because the old Moors had no concept of Moorish science as it relates to a political ideal. They had no concept. They figured that everybody joined, I proclaim my nationality, I'm Moorish American. No, this is your nationality and membership card. So for those who have a nationality, then you're a member. This is your nationality and membership card for the Moorish Science Temple of America. Do we know how to read anymore? So you can be a member, but you have to proclaim your nationality. Do we understand? So people like Sharanyo Bay that be trolling and just making memes as a response to real information, family, I'm going to troll him a little bit. I want him to show us his mama. Y'all seen my mama? Press 7 if y'all seen my mama. Anybody seen my mama? Press 7, please. Please. Anybody in here seen my mama? I'm pulling out my father too. Tell him show his mama. Sorry, trying to grab lunch. The reason why I say that, family, is because when the waters get dirty, when the waters get convoluted, it puts a damper on the mission. It put a damper on the mission. It confuses the mission. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, family, somebody got to write the law, write the rule by looking at what the prophet gave us. You're never going to see his family Trotman Bay because they hide their Mexican family in the closet. They hide their family in the closet because they know without the hidden family in the closet, without that, it's going to expose who they are, that they have a nationality. Now, I put up a post, right? I'm going to leave that alone till Sunday. I put up a post that I'm doing this lecture, and hopefully y'all support it. That's right, I'm raising money so I can do some more. What happens to the prophet wife? Thank you, Jackson L. What happened to the prophet wife? When I put up this post, the flunky brother, Lord Abba, who's now a freedman, said, he's trolling the dead now? I sure hope Abba ain't on drugs. I sure hope he's not on drugs. Because for him to say something like that, it appears to me that he has a chemical imbalance. Because when we talk about our foreparents that has transitioned, quote unquote, as he say, did, you mean we're trolling them now? That means that we're trolling them? Because we're talking about that. Now, thank you, the original people, for hitting the Cash App. Somebody need to, the original people in the building, I'm trying to, anyway, that means that we're trolling now? Family, what group of people that been through what we've been through wouldn't be interested in what happened to the prophet's wife? Thank you, Justin Foreman Bona. Thank you, brother, for the Cash App. What person wouldn't be interested in what happened to the prophet's wife? Our forefathers and foremothers, our foreparents. What person wouldn't be interested? Why would those in the ink say He's talking crazy. He's talking crazy. Why wouldn't they say, well, let me see what he has to say? And you know what? Ask those in the ink. Before I discovered, and me and the Moors discovered the sister grave site, Sister Pearl Drew Ali, nobody knew where she was buried. I'll put a challenge out right now. Tell me where she's buried. We know Bear Oak Cemetery. I bet you won't find any picture with any Moors before me in the noble temples standing by Sister Pearl gravesite. I bet you won't. Why would they hide that? Why would they hide? What is the point of keeping from the public Sister Pearl Drew Ali gravesite? You know what one person said on a post? Oh, because people be hating on the prophet, and we didn't want to. They said the ink said we didn't want to tell nobody because they might be over there causing confusion. But you know the prophet's gravesite. You know other leaders' gravesite. But that's the reason that y'all would try to conceal. Family, when I do this lecture on what happened to the prophet's wife, you're going to see how they buried her under a confusing name. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see how they buried her on the plaque there's one thing, but on the official record there's another thing. There's another thing. The ink did that. Secondly, why don't they ever speak about Mary Drew Ali? Don't they say that's the prophet wife too? Don't they say Mary Drew Ali is the prophet wife? What's the math? Do the math. Did the prophet have one wife or two wives? And what kind of proof do you have? So sisters out there, are y'all ready to be? You know what? Kirkman Bey had a couple wives. Kirkman Bey had a couple wives. That's why you see in that fake oral statement, they said that the prophet says one day you'll be able to have two wives too. That's why don't ever listen to the oral statements. They're jacked up and they're used to manipulate people, just like the hadith was used against the Arabs and now used against us. You see what I'm saying? Don't ever give a hearsay the time of day unless you can confirm it maybe 2 or 3 times. Maybe 2 or 3 times. Listen, if the Prophet Noble Drew Ali tells us, take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. If the Prophet says to a singular, if the Prophet says to us, Allah alone binds 2 hearts. This is written that he said that. If Prophet Noble Drew Ali says to us, take unto thyself a wife, obey the ordinance of Allah, take unto thyself a wife, and become a faithful member of society. Allah alone bind 2 hearts. We don't care. You can talk about what the ancestors did all you want. That ain't what the Moorish doctrine dictates. Now, are you sisters in the Moorish Science Temple of America? Are y'all ready to be sister wives? Because according to the ink, the prophet had 2 wives. According to the ink. According to the ink, the prophet had 2 wives. And they claim married. Wait. Hey. This lecture gonna be serious. This lecture, what happened to the prophet wife? What happened to Mary Drew Ali? What happened to Mary Drew Ali? Sisters, are you in here? Are you ready to be a sister wife? Because according to the ink, the prophet Noble Drew Ali had 2 wives. They can't confirm it. According to the ink, the prophet married Drew Ali. They got a crazy explanation. It don't even make sense. So this lecture that I'm doing, I think it's on the 5th. This lecture that I'm doing on the 5th, what happened to the prophet's wife? I'm covering all of that. I'm gonna show you what happened. I'm gonna show you what happened. And then people say, well, she was a faithful member. Talking about Pearl Drew Ali. She was a faithful member all her life. That sound good. That sound good. But I got some logic behind that too. Where else was she going to go? Where else she was going to go? Her whole family was in Temple number 9. She came from Georgia to be with her family in Temple number 9. Temple number 9 overthrew the prophet. Where was she going to go? Where was she going to go? With Emil? Where was she going to go? Where was she going to go? Make sense of it. Where else she was going to go? She was either going to go with her family or go in the ground. Because they was gangsters back then. They had no problem with getting rid of you. I ask again, what happened to Murray Drew Ali? The last time you hear about Murray Drew Ali, when Kirkman Bey and them say, turn over the prophet stuff. Because I told y'all the story behind that, but I'm going to reiterate it again. See, when someone tried to block you from understanding real history as it relates to the same thing that you say you subscribe to, that's the enemy. That's the enemy. That's the one you got to be aware of. Just say if I'm wrong, right? Just hypothetically say. Just say if I'm totally wrong in my research. I have the right to say, hold up, maybe I am wrong. But the only way that I can say that is if you, people from the ink, that claim that you know, point out my wrong. Or anybody else, but I'm using the ink for example because the ink is the Claude Greenmoors. Without a doubt, they're the Claude Greenmoors. They're the Claude Greenmoors. Without a doubt. But the point that I want to say is, if Sister Pearl Drew Ali, as you call a faithful member of the ink since the time of the prophet, give us some history on her then. You don't even know the history of Kirkman Bey. More or less, give me some history on Pearl Drew Ali. You don't even know the history of Kirkman Bey. You don't even know the history of Kirkman Bey. Talk about Kirkman Bey wives. You want to talk about that? Talk about Kirkman Bey children. You want to talk about that? You don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about that. We're going to leave that alone for another lecture. We'll leave that alone for another lecture. That lecture is called The Moderators, where we look at all the moderators and see if they measure up to the prophet. We're going to look at all the moderators. Kirkman Bey, F. Nelson Bey, J. Bakley Bey. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to leave All Love L alone. I like All Love L. I do. I got to admit, I like All Love L. I like All Love L because he was a fighter and he believed in what he stood on, even though it was wrong. I mean, even though it was wrong, what he stood on, I liked him because he championed his cause. He was a police and he fought like a police. You know what I'm saying? When Pleasant Bey chose to sell dope, you know what I mean? When Pleasant Bey chose to sell dope in the penitentiary and chose to have sisters dressed up as Moors in Moroccan costumes and going to the jail to sell whoa, to sell their body, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, All Love L, he had to jump into police mode, even though he probably knew everything about it. He probably knew everything about it. Yeah. So when Pleasant Bey was selling all that dope, I mean, in the prison. Yeah. When Pleasant Bey was having sisters sell their bodies in the prison, under All Love L, he turned it to police mode. Man, you gotta love somebody that you gotta love it. Not love the person, but you know what I mean. If you standing on business, you're police. So stand on police business. I respect that. I know this. Get out your way. When our love, L, felt that he was the caretaker of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he started shutting down temples by filing these cases, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. You know what I mean? You gotta love somebody stand on business in which they say they represent. Like, if a person claimed to be the Moorish Science Temple of America, in this sense, the Inc. In this sense, the Inc. They know it was a hostile takeover. Say it. Say it with your chest. Yeah, we ain't like Emilio. We don't think he was capable of doing what the prophet did, so we had to take it. We had to do what we had to do. Just say it. But don't fake like the prophet gave you the baton. Don't fake like Emilio gave you the baton. Nobody gave you the baton. Nobody gave you the baton. And don't look at me like I don't have the right to demonstrate the prophet because no one gave you the baton. In fact, no one gave none of these people the baton. We're doing the best we can, but me, I'm not lying. I'm saying my authority comes from the county of Cook. My authority comes from the universal creator of law. My authority comes from the knowledge that I have about the Moorish Science Temple of America. Allah alone guides the destiny of this movement. You think Allah is a spook? Allah is art. Man is art. Art is a law. Allah alone guides the destiny of this movement. You think Allah is a spook? Nah. Listen, we waking up right now. We're tapping into the ethers. We're tapping into the cosmos. We're on the soul plane. You understand? We're on the realm of soul. I'm sorry, let me get this right. There's a difference between the soul plane and the realm of soul. Jesus went to teaching on the realm of soul. We on the realm of soul right now. We grabbing where every word is written. That's right. A law book of remembrance is revealed. This is why you can't get away today. You can't get away today. You might don't like how Tahaka Bey presented. You may think that Tahaka Bey is talking out the side of his neck. But ask yourself, what inspires me to ask the questions and answer them in a way that had never been asked and answered before? What inspires me? What makes me say, anybody who doubt, step up and let's have a conversation? Where does that come from? See, we read in our Quran that Jesus went on the realm of soul, not the plane of soul, the realm of soul, and let the prisoners free and open up the doors, open up the gates. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't understand Moorish science on that metaphysical level, you ain't gonna get what I just said. But if you have studied your Quran, you will clearly understand that the gates is opening. You will clearly understand that Allah book of remembrance is open and then nothing is hidden. You had the chance to hide before. How do we fix this wrong and come together as a nation? There's nothing to fix, Riggins L. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix, Riggins L. These old Moors are not giving up that illusion of power. I'm going to give it to you a whole stack, family. If nobody gives it to you real, I'm going to give it to you real. All of these old Moors, they're broke in spirit and in bank account. They're broke in spirit and in bank account. This is the only thing that they have to hold on to. They're not giving that up. You got to leave them alone. You got to go and awaken people that has never heard of Moorish science before. You got to go waking up the old people. You got to go waking up them old souls that are coming out the grave, like it talk about in Revelations. Right, the dead is coming out the grave. You got to wake them up. You cannot waste your time thinking that you're going to unite with people from the Inc., thinking that you're going to unite with people from Rasadiel, thinking you're going to unite. That ain't never going to happen. That's never going to happen. That's an illusion. One prophet, one temple is an illusion from the concept that all of these people believe the same thing. They don't, and they will not. They will not. You have to let them go. There's millions and millions and millions of Asiatic Moors here in America that will have an ear to what you have to say. Why are we wasting time on these old Moors that ain't going to do nothing anyway? It's a waste of time. And I'm not, and listen, I'm not focused on none of them. But I'm telling the history, and they feel that I'm talking about them. They feel like I'm talking about them because they are on the wrong side of history. And this argument has always been amongst more against more, against more against more. That ain't my argument. My argument is I'm telling the history to those who wouldn't have the benefit of getting it any other way. So, the college student that's interested in Moorish science, we got it on the record for that person. The person in the hood that's interested in Moorish science, never heard of it before, but heard something about Moor, they get it from that way. But this is not a competition with no grand bodies or no organized Moors. This ain't about them. They think it is because that's what they're used to. That's what they used to. But this ain't about them. This is the last thing. I'm not wasting my time on no Moors that's supposed to know. These Moors are 40, 50, 60, some even 70 years old. And they haven't taken the time to do even some of the small things that need to be done to correct these errors. Why would I waste my time? Why would I waste my time? That's a waste of time. Can you imagine if the Prophet Noble Drew Ali target audience was those that knew they was Moors? It would have wasted his time. I used to believe that too. I used to believe that Moors need to come together. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. We need to go out and teach our people their nationality and give them something to join that's beneficial to them. These Moors, I don't want to come together with none of that. I'm telling you off the break. I don't want to come together with none of that. None of that. That ain't my message. That ain't my message. I don't want to come together with none of that. If you my brother, you know you my brother. If you my sister, you know you my sister. If you know the goal of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're working towards that together. But coming together for what? Y'all been together this long and ain't produced nothing. Why I want to come together with that? Just to say we together? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not coming together just to say we together. Nah, man, we got a nation to build. We got babies to raise up. Man, we got people that need people like us who have the knowledge and the inspiration and the fire and the drive to take us to the next level. I'm going to burn my wheels on you? Listen, for all the people of these different administrations, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to keep on exposing the history of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your membership. It has nothing to do with you and what you aspire to do. It has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Them little 20 or 30 members per city is nothing in comparison to the millions and millions of Asiatics that's in that same city. It's nothing in comparison to the millions and millions of people that go by Negro, black, and colored. Those are the people I'm talking to. And I'm going to keep saying that so you know. So you know. Those are the people I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people that the Prophet was talking to from that fit that criteria of 1779 to 1865 during the time of slavery. I'm talking to those people. I'm not talking to those. I'm teaching our people their nationality. I'm not teaching somebody that thinks they got a nationality, their nationality. That don't make sense. If you claim Moorish American, why should I have to teach you? You gonna act like you know anyway. You're gonna act like you know anyway. So that's a waste of time. You're gonna act like you know how the Moorish Science Temple of America supposed to move administratively. You're gonna act like you know how the Moorish Science Temple is supposed to move morally. You're gonna act like how you know how it's supposed to move theocratically. You're gonna ask everything. You're gonna know everything. How can I teach you anything? Just like the brother came on the post. He's never been a member of the, in Sunday class. Y'all might have seen it. Sovereign citizen brother. He's not a member of any temple. Why is there so many bodies of Moors in America? Because no one, Dion Riggins said, why is there so many bodies of Moors in America? Because no one has stepped up front and drew the line in the sand and say, this is the Prophet and this is what the Prophet demonstrated and this is not. That's why. Listen, every time somebody stood up and say, man, that ain't what the Prophet demonstrated, They're like, well, you wasn't there during the time of the prophet. The prophet said his footprints are clearly cut. He left us an example. But the moment that someone speak out, you causing confusion. See, that ain't stop me. That ain't stop me. You can tell me I'm causing confusion all day you want. I'ma still tell the truth. Nobody never checked the Taj Tariq Bey. These same Moors that's mad with me, the Ink Moors, they never checked the Taj Tariq Bey. When Taj Tariq Bey said that you got a right to travel, here, get this license. Buy it off the internet. Buy these seals. They never checked the Taj Tariq Bey. They never said anything to him. He traveled around the country freely, claiming to be a representative of the Moorish Simple of America. In fact, he even called himself a grand sheikh. He even called himself a grand sheikh. Wasn't even a member of a temple. Nobody never checked him. This is why all these bodies are Moors. This is why. Nobody never put the standard out there. Prophet Noble Drew Ali put a standard out there. But no one want to live according to the standard. I'm saying that this is the standard of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is what I'm standing by. This is what I'm standing on. Prove me wrong. And everything else that those that claim to be standing on, these foul administrations, they lied to us. And then they call themselves a holy and divine movement. They lied to us. They lied to us. Nobody got any backbone to say that ain't right. You see, one thing about me, right? I lived on the dark side of life. Listen, no, he wasn't a GS. I lived on the dark side of life, right? In my teenage years, right? I stayed in trouble. I stayed in mess. I stayed in confusion. You know what I mean? In and out the Negroes College. I stayed in trouble. You know, gave my mother heartache, gave my family heartache, gave my loved ones heartache from me being ignorant and foolish. And in order for me to get my life on the right track, I had to take responsibility. I had to say, man, every time I find myself in this cell, it was something that I did. I had to take responsibility that every time I find myself in a situation, it was something that I did. So I had to look within myself, check myself, correct myself, discipline myself, and move forward in order so I can be out here talking to you right now. Well, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave me that inspiration and gave me that insight to do what I'm doing, to change my life, right? Now, if I was hard on myself, why wouldn't I hold everybody else to that standard? Why wouldn't I hold, man, listen, there's a time in my life where my whole life could fit inside of a JanSport sports backpack. My mama picking me up from the Bing, a JanSports backpack. And in order to turn my life around, I had to execute the Prophet's teachings within my heart. I had to execute them 1,000%, right? And if I hold myself accountable to the Prophet's teachings, you don't think I'm going to say something to those who are not? That don't make sense. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to understand me. You don't have to do none of that. But I'm going to tell you something. When you take these lessons serious, right, you start looking at what's the benefit of these lessons. There's two levels of benefit of the Moorish Simple of America in Taharqas Bey understanding. The first level is benefits you personally and your family. So that's one. You get your mind right, you get yourself together. And the Prophet said, take it and save yourself. And that self represents you as an individual in the beginning. But the moment that the lessons unfold, that self unfolds to you and your people as the self, right? So when you truly take these lessons and save yourself, ultimately the self becomes the oneness of your people. Now, in order for you to save or be a part of the saving power of the lessons, we first have to know the lessons from the inside out. There's so many levels to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's lessons that many of us will never get to wrap our full mind around it in this lifetime. But the part that we do know, we are supposed to execute. The part that we do know, we are supposed to execute. I know that the Moorish Science Temple of America brings us together collectively as an administration to move as administratively adapt as we're supposed to. I know that. I know that if there's administration over here calling themselves Moorish Science Temple of America, is it one over here calling themselves Moorish Science Temple of America? If it's one over here calling themselves Moorish Science Temple of America, I know in reality that ain't going nowhere. The one that understands how to administratively move is the one that's going to benefit from the Prophet's movement as a collective. If you don't know how to move administratively as a collective, you will not benefit. Oh, your benefit will be minimal. Let me say that. Because you still can have some land, you can have a church type setting, you have all that. But will you have political power? Will you have economic power? Will you have spiritual power? Will you have all the things that builds a nation and a people? Will you have all that? You ain't gonna have that. You know what I mean? So on one end, you might be like they say about the Nation of Islam. Oh, the Nation of Islam had an economic program. Okay, where's the spiritual program? See, in the house of Ali, it covers everything. In the house of Ali, it covers everything. So it takes a grand sheikh. It takes a grand sheikh to understand all of these elements. And it doesn't mean that the Grand Sheikh knows everything. It takes a Grand Sheikh to understand all of these elements so when people join, they can put them to work as the Prophet did. So he can put them to work to fulfill that part of the element that we need. You know what I'm saying? The Grand Sheikh don't know everything, but the Grand Sheikh has an understanding, a working knowledge of all that he have studied or she have studied. And then they put the one that joined to work in that capacity so all can be successful. And the Grand Sheikh or Grand Sheikhs do not feel some type of way when somebody is shining like Malcolm in contrast to Elijah. He don't feel no type of way because it's about nation and all benefit in the end. So Moorish Science Temple of America needs its Malcolm. And whoever is that Elijah of that Malcolm can't feel some type of way. But that's why we got the tools of the workshop of the mind. We build character so when we get to that point, you don't feel no type of way. And that's the thing about the Moorish Science Temple of America. We put our passions and desires within the bounds of righteousness. You let your ego, vanity is beyond them all. So we get one that can blow that trumpet like Malcolm did, and then you feel some type of way. You outside of your lesson. That's an illusion. You're outside of your lessons. We use a compass to put a circle around our passions. But you so passionate about being seen. You so passionate about being noticed. Now you done jumped outside of the circle. That's the thing about a Grand Sheikh in the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America knows how to delegate and put people in the right position to expedite the success of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And that's what we trying to do here at the Moorish Science Temple of America, styled as the Noble Temples. All of these people that making these funny memes, all these people that making that funny talk, I say sit across the table from me and put your information on the table so I can prove to you the fallacy in which you stand on. So I can prove to the people. And the reason why I always say let's debate or let's go live is because I want the people to see. Because my message is not to turn you around. My message is for those who are interested and think their conditions can be better. So I will use you as a sounding board. The only reason I say let's debate, the only reason I say see me live, if I'm able to use you as a sounding board for those who will be listening in. Because maybe one of those ears say, Grand Sheikh, where you need me? One of those ears say, Grand Sheikh, I think I got what it takes. One of those ears say, man, I'm tired of this mess, man. Let's get right. One of those ears. And all it takes is one of those ears to be the next Malcolm of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's all it takes to be the next Emiliel of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That ain't scared to go out into the public and tell the truth. That ain't scared to say that man must elevate from his carnal self to the flesh and blood of Allah. To look a Sunni in the face and say man will elevate to the flesh and blood of Allah. That we must go teach the omnipotence of Allah in man and look at a Sunni Muslim in the face and don't try to talk about Alhamdulillah. No. Speak plain English. See, we need that type of energy now. See, the generation out there now, they ain't talking in code. They ain't talking in code. When they bang on each other, they ain't talking in no code. They just banging it out. They just banging it out. You got grown people that's a half 100 plus calling people YNs now. I'm like, what the world? I ain't never called nobody no YN. They went from YG, young gangster, or young god, to YN, young N-word. These people are and then you wonder why we ain't moving nowhere. Well, the Moorish Temple of American style is the noble temples. We moving, man. We moving. I'm not playing. Listen, I'm a half 100 plus, right? Probably got a good 30 years left. If as my grandma would say, if the Lord spare me, got about a good 30 years left. What we gonna do in these next years coming? What we gonna do? Are we gonna have something that we're proud of and say, look what we have built? Are we going to have a place of refuge if they cut the water off? If they cut the electricity off? Are we going to have a grand treasury to help those that then fell on hard time? What are we doing? What are we doing? Let me tell you, at the end of the day, family, we had it wrong. At the end of the day, we had it wrong. All of these groups had it wrong. The Moorish Temple of America Noble Temples work to do it right. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. Look at the prophet and say, that's it. That's what we need to do. Look at the prophet and say, that's it. That's how we doing it. I ain't looking at nobody but Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Don't ask me to look at nobody else but Prophet Noble Drew Ali. If you want to debate me on if we doing it like Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's all you got to do. Because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali footprint is clearly cut. And his success is clearly written in stone. His success is clearly written in stone. Why should I be trying to be like somebody that don't even have a measure of success? Huh? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. The only successful model we have is the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Why would you be mad because I want to do it like Prophet Noble Drew Ali? I don't want to do it like Kirkman Bey. I don't want to do it like Kirkman Bey. You can do it like Kirkman Bey. You can call people grand sheiks and moderators. You can call people grand advisors and moderators. I don't want to do it like that. I want to do it just like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to wear blue buttons. I don't want to wear blue buttons. I want to wear red buttons on a white field. I want to do it just like the Prophet. I don't want to wear burgundy fezzes. I don't. I want to wear the fez that matches my flag. I want to wear the fez match my flag. I don't know. I don't care what you want to do. I want to wear the fez that match my flag. Flaming red. Like the fields of ancient Morocco. Like the desert of ancient Morocco. Flaming red. You can wear the wine. You can, listen. You can wear the beet color all you want. This beet juice right here. You can wear the beet color all you want. That ain't what I'm doing. I don't care what you say. Well, some of the Moors back then, I'm wearing the fez the color of my flag. I'm set tripping on this Moorish thing. I'm Moorish American. Stop Allah. Stop Allah. I'm Moorish American. That's right. My baby's coming in this world. They Moorish American. And it's going to be that way or nothing at all. There is, listen. They can make memes all day, but they cannot make an educated rebuttal of anything I put out yet. They have not made an educated rebuttal of anything I put out yet. Anybody notice that? Somebody say something to me. Anybody seen these lectures? Anybody seen these lectures? Have y'all seen one educated rebuttal yet? Family, I'm going to give you the history of Pearl Drew Ali as it can be discovered. Next week, I think it's on the 5th. Why nobody talk about Pearl Drew Ali? What happened to her? Huh? Do we got stories, or can we confirm some of these things? Do the prophet have one wife or two wives? Can we confirm these things? Huh? Thank you, Foreman, Jason Foreman Boner. That's my man, the original people. I mean, can we confirm these things? I mean, what I'm going to present is what we can confirm. That's what I'm going to present. That's what I'm going to present. Why is people on my post on a flyer about the lecture about Pearl Drew Ali, Brothers in the Ink, talking about, oh, he's saying that they kidnapped Pearl. Is that all I said? They don't want you to see him. But if they claim that Pearl Drew Ali was with them from the time that the prophet transitioned, why they never taught no history about Pearl Drew Ali, and now I decide to teach some history? I seem like the bad guy. Y'all notice that? There is nobody from the ink that has presented anything on Sister Pearl Drew Ali in 100 years. And now I'm presenting something on Sister Pearl Drew Ali, and I'm the boogeyman. Family, make it make sense. We gotta be a little bit more intelligent than this. Y'all ever notice that? They never present anything on Mary Drew Ali. I'm ready to present something on Mary Drew Ali, Pearl Drew Ali, the marriage of both. And now they tell you, I'm the boogeyman. Why didn't they just present something? Why? Family, somebody talk in the chat. Why didn't, if Pearl Drew Ali was with the ink for over 100 years, wouldn't they have something to present? Why didn't they present something? Why now that I choose to present something on our matriarch, I am the boogeyman? Because what I present is going to expose them. What I present is probably going to put them under the bus. It's going to show cover up. It's going to show foul play. It's going to put them under the bus. No one likes to be under the bus. No one likes to be under the bus. But what you should have did, you should have presented these things before. And now let me give you a heads up before I go. Let me give you this. For those that think they're scholars of the ink, go on and present your information about those leaders so you can try to offset. What I'm about to present. But you're going to have to lie. You're going to have to lie. And that's when I'll catch you in the lie. So better yet, don't say nothing. Just sit back and let me awaken the Moors who are coming out the grave. I'm not targeting you. Consequently, you're just on the wrong side of history. Consequently, you have chosen the wrong side of history. I mean, Riggins Hill saying, I'm just trying to be a good Moor. Well, I'm trying to be a little more than a good Moor. I'm trying to be perfected man living in the New Jerusalem called the Moorish society as predetermined by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, what we consider a Moorish nation. I'm trying to be a little bit more than a good Moor. But to be a good Moor, to be a good leader, you must study the Quran, questionnaire, and divine constitution and bylaw handed down unto you. You know what I mean? I've studied it through and through. I studied it upside down. I studied it from a legal perspective. I studied it from an organizational perspective. I studied it from a cultural perspective. I studied it from a spiritual perspective. I put it in a block of, I'm going to just look at the spiritual essence of this document because it's a divine constitution. Hold up, divine. Then I'm going to look at it from a politicized perspective because it's a constitution. I'm going to look at it from a law perspective because it's a constitution. You feel me? And then, not only that, I'm going to look at who is the executive rulers the prophets speak of. Who is the executive rulers? His name cannot be used only by the executive rulers of the AC of the MST of A. Who are the executive rulers? Who is the grand body? I'm about to give this to you and I'm going to get out of here. Who is the executive rulers? Who is the grand body? and who's the Grand Sheik and Chairman. Those three elements I'll be bringing to the April 27 lecture in Detroit. We'll be talking about the executive rulers, we're talking about the grand body, and we're talking about the Grand Sheik and Chairman. Most people that call themselves Supreme Grand Sheiks, they don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. It's going to sound foreign. It's going to sound foreign. And for those Supreme Grand Sheiks that do understand, then you're obligated to teach it, because I'm about to teach it. This throws all of the lies out the window. When you're able to explain what is the executive rulers, what is the grand body, who is the job of the Grand Sheik and Chairman, all of that Supreme Grand Moderator goes out the building. It's done. It just goes out the building. And we begin to build on a whole nother level, because what we were building on was wrong. It was wrong. And that's just what it is. I'm telling you, family, I feel blessed to be living in this time. I feel so confident in what I have come to understand and what has been revealed to my heart. I feel so confident that we are on the crux of getting it together. I do. I feel so confident. I'm just so ready to just this weather to change up. We reestablish temple number 13 here in Baltimore. I said it. That's right. We putting together the landmarks. I said it. I'm just so confident that we are moving like we're supposed to be moving. We always thought that we had to get permission. I grew up. The old Moors taught us that we had to get permission. Like we were children. When the Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us that the door of religious freedom swings open and we can walk through. But the old people was telling us that we needed permission. Who gave you authority? We needed permission. Who gave you authority? We needed permission. How you give a grown man position? And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, you're supposed to protect this with your very life. Do we need permission? Do we need permission? Preserve these holy and divine laws. We need permission. Listen, this is why I keep the floor open. That if I'm saying that I'm preserving these holy and divine laws, I ask you to show me where I'm wrong. Because if I'm wrong, I want to fix me first. I want to fix me first. If you can show me where I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong so I can fix me first. I want to stop talking and fix me. But if you can't show me where I'm wrong, and you just making memes, and you just making backroom chatter, then I'm just going to carry on. I mean, but you got, because if you show me where I'm wrong, I'm going to fix me. You best believe that. You best believe that. I didn't rewire my whole way of thinking to understand how to survive in this mad human drama. And I ain't finished rewiring. And if you bring something to the table to show me that I have to do an adjustment and rewiring, I'm going to do that, because I want to be the best me that I can be. I'm trying to unfold into a perfected man. But if you think that this is a social media challenge, you're sadly mistaken. This is not a social media challenge. This is not a social media show. But we will play the social media game to get to where we need to go. And that's the fact of the matter. So family, I hope I see y'all this Sunday. I'm going to be breaking down nationality according to the Constitution, that a Mexican is not a Moorish American, number one. Number two, this lecture that's coming up, look on my page. That's right. Look on my page. It's called The Prophet's Wife. And we're going to be examining the history and what happened to Sister Pearl Drew Ali, according to reports, as well as according to official documents of what she was doing all the years, but no one heard of her. We're also going to look at the concept of Mary Drew Ali. Is Mary Drew Ali the prophet wife too? Did he have two wives? We're going to look at that. We're going to look at what role did Mary Drew Ali play? When did she come into existence as being known as a Drew Ali? We're going to break all that down. So, for those who are part of the Inc., ask them, and I know you're watching, ask your leaders, did the prophet have two wives? And if they say yes, ask them, if you're a sister, do you have to be a sister wife? What's the rule? And if you're a brother, ask them, can you have 2 wives too? Then, can you give us some history on Sister Pearl Drew Ali? What was her role after the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Silly Saranyo Bay says she was a faithful member. When she was with the Prophet, she was the national secretary. How you going to downgrade? Somebody put a 7 in the air. She was a faithful member since the time of the Prophet. At the time of the Prophet, she was the national secretary. She was teaching the babies. Show us she was doing that during the time that Kirkman Bay in Temple Number 9 did they shing ding. Show me. Show me. Sit up there and tell me she was some faithful member. Show me. I can show you what she was during the time of the Prophet. And if she wasn't that during the time of Temple Number 9 takeover with Kirkman Bay and Clark Green Moores, that was a downgrade. Because if the Prophet seen her worthy to be the national treasurer, what was she? Was she the treasurer of an auxiliary or something? Huh? She was the national secretary, I'm sorry. But then the Prophet gone, she downgraded. Y'all playing games. Y'all playing games. And we not going to let you do Sister Pearl like that. You got away with it too long. We not going to let you do Sister Pearl like that. That's right. She was a faithful member. It's Saranyo Bay, you need to shut your mouth. Because you're putting your foot in your mouth. Just be quiet. And hope that the storm blow over. Family, does anybody out there hear me? Anybody hear me? Do anybody hear me? Family, wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that if Prophet Noble Drew Ali appoint Sister Pearl Drew Ali the national secretary, don't it make sense that she would continue to be in that position? Anyway, family, I'm going to get ready to get this lecture together. Hope I see y'all. The link will be in this feed. The link. And family, don't be talking about, oh, he charging $12. Yes, I'm charging $12 because I'm hitting the road. I'm taking this message around the country. Gas ain't free. Car tune-ups ain't free. Ain't free. Feeding the family ain't free. Taking off from work ain't free. The hotel ain't free. So a little $12 won't hurt you. But this is something that you can have in your archives forever. And you can teach it in your Sunday school class. You can teach it in your class in your living room. Because this is information you'll be able to verify. This is not no old wives' tale. And we need to stop. One thing that I had to learn, and I learned it from Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet Noble Drew Ali wasn't ashamed about saying that things cost. You know what I mean? When you look at the first event of 1927, he had a price for children and adults. Family, you can't do this without finance. I can't even talk to you right now without losing finance, because I could be working right now. But the gain is more better, because if one person is inspired, and that one person is the next Mealy Hill or the next, as I spoke about Malcolm to Elijah, it's all worth it. We can go to the next level. With that being said, family, got to go get the babies. Peace and love. I will see y'all on Sunday class. I hope y'all join me for Sunday class as I break down nationality in the purest form, as I show and prove that Mexicans are not Moorish American. Mexicans are not Moorish American. All right? Mexicans are not Moorish American. Moorish American is a specific group from 1779 and 1865. These are laws in the United States of America that was forced upon those Those labels was forced upon those inside that criteria. And those who fit that criteria, you might get a dark olive Jamaican, you might get a dark olive Mexican. And we know they would consider Negro, black, and colored. But when you got those who know their nationality, you got those that know that they're Mexican and claiming Moorish American? Come on, man. Nah. Islam. Peace and love. Thank you for joining me. And even those hiding in the cracks and learning something, I appreciate you too. Just go to your temple and teach it. Just go to your temple and teach it. Because I'm not going to stir you wrong.